Hi everyone, a very good morning. You've tuned into Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Mubina Kapasi. A sharp spike seen in the markets just as we speak, and with that we are at the day's high of 11,925. Sensex gaining a neat 143 points. But Market Fatafat is all about flagging off those individual movers and shakers. So that's what we will be discussing today. And just for that, we have with us from our research team, Varun and Pranay. And very shortly, we'll also be joined by, Hemen Kapari of KR Choksi Securities on the technicals. Morning, all of you. And let's kickstart the show with the big loser of today. And that's from the microfinance space, BANDHAN Bank. Look at the way the stock price is plummeting. It's a big fall of more than 4% seen over there. The trigger, of course, being certain reports that have been talking about protests being conducted against BANDHAN Bank in the way that they have been conducting their business. Now, Macquarie in particular has come out with a note on a related topic. They have said that, yes, they have hosted various FI clients on rural West Bengal microfinance field last week. It's the second field trying to understand, asking questions, visiting new sectors, and, sort of playing devil's advocate of sorts against their own underperformed thesis. Now, they did notice that there was never any malpractices as such found in the deposit collection by BANDHAN. They did find it common for BANDHAN, however, to mandate compulsory deposits, with the bank in lieu of loans being disbursed. But, the amounts in question were not material. And they found also that it does warrant no change in, the earnings and target price. 12-month price target is 470 rupees. The catalyst is over-leveraging and concentration risks in East India. Bandhan Bank is down by more than 4% in trade. But now let's bring on board Hemen. And Hemen, hi, morning. Let's talk about M&M, which once again continues to go lower in trade. What sort of a trend are you witnessing, and do you think we will be seeing some more pressure in the stock?
Hi, very good morning. Good morning to you, Mubina. Thank you for having me. Yes, I think we remain in a shorter-term downtrend, Mubina, and we've also seen some long unwinding happening. So the outlook remains negative if one were to take a shorter-term view. And we have had 567 a rather decent support, but it's a daily closing support. If we close below that today, further downside with the sell-on loss.
Okay, that's M&M for you, 1.3% down today in trade. And Pranay, we did have the aviation data that was released for the month gone by. That's October. Who gained, who lost out?
Well, SpiceJet has gained market share from last month, Mubina, and it's now increased it by about 160 basis points thanks to the capacity that it has added mostly on the domestic routes where Jet had vacated. Indigo, on the other hand, comparatively has seen its market share dip from the last month because of the issue that we've seen with regards to some of its A320 Neo engines and the grounding of aircraft. SpiceJet also has experienced it, but it has added more capacity and therefore it has expanded market share. That should be in the positive, while Indigo counter should be trading a little soft.
Okay, that's SpiceJet and Indigo. SpiceJet is gaining smartly, but Indigo is down in trade. Moving on, Varun, ICICI Bank, what exactly is the news flow out there? There's another stock that has continued to gain. In fact, it had the touch and go moment as well with the 500 rupee mark in trade today.
Right, Mubina. So at 500 rupees, firstly, let me just say that ICICI Bank would have doubled in more than a year and a half. It's hard to find many other banks that large that have managed to achieve that feat, so that's commendable. Now, today it was in the news because, culmination of reports and newspaper articles suggested that the bank is looking to raise 20,000 crore. Now, at the current price, it wouldn't be such a bad thing in my mind. And I think it wouldn't have augured too bad for the counter, but the bank has clarified and replied to the channel earlier this morning that no such plans are on the anvil. So, looks like the street just got a bit excited, but for now, capital raise plans at ICICI Bank are on hold. Nonetheless, a top-performing bank this year.
Okay, ICICI Bank is at 500 rupees right now. Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock that's gaining smartly, and that's CASTROL. We do have a note from HSBC today that is quite positive. They have a buy over here, target at 165 rupees. Yes, the slowdown in the auto sector and the auto sales is something that has hit their volumes as well. But the margins are intact, and that's a positive. Now, the third quarter volumes, the September quarter volumes were down sharply because of the fact that apparently it was a seasonally weak quarter. Margins, however, was supported because of the strong realizations, and accordingly they're raising their 2019-2021 estimates by 7 to 14%. So quite a trigger for CASTROL, gaining by more than 4% in trade. And Himen, financial services, or more specifically banking, SBI had seen a great run last few days. Today, however, it's taking a breather. Your call here?
I think I would suggest partial profit. Stock is getting just a wee bit overbought. The daily MACD has given a crossover sell. It's not a short though, but I think it would be prudent to remain a bit cautious, keeping in mind that the run-up that it's had and is getting a bit top heavy.
Getting a bit overbought according to Himen, so be a bit cautious over here. And now we'll have to just take a bit of a breather on Market Fatafat, because we have some important news coming in with respect to HDIL. It looks like the RBI is now going to is very close now to selling HDIL assets. Do remember, folks, that all of this is also being done in a quest to essentially pay back the PMC Bank depositors, which has had a fallout because of HDIL's inability to repay PMC Bank. Utkarsh Chaturvedi joins us now. Utkarsh, what's the latest?
Exactly. So as you said, what has happened in the meeting yesterday, there was a meeting which you reported about that the RBI Governor and Enforcement Directorate and the EOW were present. And that is when the RBI Governor really asked the Enforcement Directorate to move forward to submit an NOC. That is the bank in the surveillance of the RBI appointed administrator goes ahead, sells the HDIL assets, and pays back the depositors' money. They have no problem with this. For that, what they have to do is they have to go to the court, submit an NOC to defreeze the assets they have already attached. And that is what we are being told, that in a matter of a day or two, ED will go. They have already agreed and told the RBI Governor that they will be going to the court and defreezing some of the assets. We still don't know how much assets are we speaking about, because according to RBI, the amount of assets need to be paying back depositors is what they need to be defreezed and pay back to the depositor. But that's a positive news coming in because of the fact that the EOW has already submitted an NOC in Esplanade Court. That's the court where their case is going on, saying that they have no issues if the RBI appointed administrator goes ahead and sells these assets. It's a positive news for all the depositors, given the fact that there's some more clarity can come in once the money comes in. It can, one, help the depositors get their money back. Secondly, it can also be a possibility that PMC Bank gets back into functioning again.
Okay, that's the latest update when it comes to HDIL. Thanks, Utkarsh, for that. We'll take a quick look at the RWI small case and see what that's up to as the market posts a nice uptick. Is the RWI small case as well aping that move? Well, not exactly. In fact, it's bucking the trend seen in the markets, down by about 0.22% at 563. Okay, we will take a very short break on Market Fatafat. Do come right back as we'll continue the countdown. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's continue with our countdown of stocks. Pranay, ITC, what does Credit Suisse have to say?
Well, they are maintaining an overweight stance with a target price of about 330. They believe that the company, which trades at about 65% discount to HUL on valuation terms, being the lowest in last 15 years, makes a case for investors to go overweight. Also, the growth is going to be reasonable over the year. The dividend yield actually could rise to about 4.7% by the next year, which could be the highest for any private stock in the Nifty basket. And also, given the underperformance of the stock, it looks rather attractive that it has not participated in the market rally. So they are recommending investors to go overweight with a target price of 330.
Okay, 249 right now for an ITC. Also, let's move on and talk about SBI Life, which is the big news maker of today. Varun, what do we know who the likely seller is in SBI Life?
Yeah, Mubina. So the likely seller should be Carlyle. They currently have a 9% stake in the company, so they're looking to switch about 3% equity on the counter. Now that at today's market cap represents around 2100 to 2500 crores, somewhere in there, depending on what price you take. If you look at the counter right now, in under 3 hours of trading, it's already had volumes of close to 5,300 crores, so that's twice that amount. So just hats off, this counter has been able to absorb so much supply, and every time this happens, it just continues to perform so well, trading within 5% of the 52-week high, recovered a considerable amount from the morning lows. So it seems to be quite positive today for SBI Life.
Yeah, 5.3% gone today in trade for an SBI Life. Okay, NBCC, that's as well a stock in focus. This after there's a very interesting report by Bank of America on the stock. What exactly are they saying? Well, they've downgraded the stock to an underperform from a buy. It's almost like a double downgrade over there. The Nauroji Nagar project for earnings growth revival is now stuck in litigation. Plus, a lot of their other key redevelopment projects as well are stranded because of no approvals. They're cutting the FY21-22 EPS estimates by up to 7%. The target multiple has been cut to 15x the 2-year forward EPS. It was 20x earlier. And the problem also arises because nearly half of NBCC's 72,000 crore order book is related to long gestation, 4 to 5 years. NBCC tanks around 2.4%. Okay, moving on, Himen, let's talk about telecom stocks. Firstly, I would have liked to start off with Varun's Vodafone and Airtel, but let's first get in a view on Bharti Infratel. Lots of volatility seen in the counter because of what's happening in the telecom space. So what's your view here? How should traders position themselves?
40% spike in 15 trading sessions, and we are running into a major resistance, a congestion area between 247 and 260. We're almost at 243 and intraday high on NSE today. So I would be cautious. I would prefer to book some profit because without a decent correction, I'm not sure these levels, keeping the quantum and the speed, sustainable without a cool off.
Right, so that's 5.5% higher, by the way, in today's trading session for Bharti Infratel. Like I said, moving in tandem with telecom stocks. Now let's talk about telecom stocks. Varun, I suppose our Vodafone bills are going to get a bit more expensive from December?
Yeah, Mubina, for sure. Basically, December 1st onwards, there's going to be a tariff hike across the board for Vodafone and Airtel. Now, post the government coming out and saying that they don't want it to be a duopoly or a single-player market, they definitely want 3 players to survive. Looks like Vodafone Idea will get the help they receive and the likely extensions. There's also talk in an ET Now exclusive broken by one of our journalists, Nayantara, earlier that these AGR dues might be suspended or there might be a delay in receipt for the government, which will provide some breathing room for these troubled telcos. So, they're already reacting so well. You can see the move that's happened, but now they also have some wiggle room to increase prices, and Idea Vodafone will definitely be a going concern moving forward. So that's an update happening there, and yes, our phone bills will be getting more expensive from the 1st of December.
Okay, thanks Varun for that. That's 5.5% higher for Airtel, but of course a stellar surge seen in Vodafone Idea that continues. Now, earlier in the day, we caught up with a couple of experts to talk about this entire news flow in the telecom sector, the relief as well that may be incoming for telecom companies. So we spoke to Dhiren Choksi, Ratnesh Kumar to try and understand what could be in store for the troubled telcos.
Definitely this hike in the tariff, I think, could spell out to be a little bit of a breather, and coupled with that, the government might consider them giving some kind of a moratorium for payment, including some relaxation in the terms of AGR dues that the telcos are required to pay. This could act as a breather, and definitely I think some kind of a lifeline, as I may want to call it as, I think would be available to the incumbent telcos.
Yes, so of course there is hope for some sort of package or measure which gives relief to the telecom incumbents, as well as there is hope that the pricing turns around in terms of, as you mentioned, it's no longer a fight for volume, rather it's a fight for survival. And so there is expectation that in addition to the package of relief that might come in from the government side, that there could be some pricing improvements as well, and which is what is holding up the stocks. But all of that is what remains to be seen, and hence, to my mind, I think while the market prices for the telecom stocks have been a little bit buoyant on that belief and hope, I would still be underweight because the sector would still face challenges even after the phase of relief or initial pricing movement that might be there. So I would still be underweight on the telecom sector.
All right. Let's move on very quickly and talk about a stock that's been buzzing since yesterday, and that's Just Dial. Second day of a rally seen in this one. It surged 11% in the last two trading sessions, so sort of a recovery after that big dip that we saw in the stock from levels of 780, 90 to sub 600 rupees. Now, remember yesterday we did have that big upgrade from UBS where they've upgraded it all the way from a sell to a buy. Target price as well hiked significantly to beyond 800 rupees. They have said that the B2B business will positively surprise, among other things. And Himain, very quickly, let's talk about this uptick that we are seeing in L&T Finance. What do you make of it?
Hold, stop loss 99, target 105 in a short, medium trend. Short covering happening, further apply for.
And Varun, Tata Steel, an attempt to restructure the British business, which is, of course, been in financial trouble for some time.
Right, Mabina. So, like you rightly said, it's been in trouble for a while now. It's not been the most profitable. So, in a recent move to probably save on the cost front, the company is going to be laying off 3,000 employees in Europe. Now, this is part of the overall restructuring and turnaround process they're doing to improve the financials. So, I'd say it's a mixed move. Obviously, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people laid off. But looking at the larger picture and the company's aim to turn around, it is a move that one would expect. So that's the update on Tata Steel.
Okay, and let's also talk about DB Realty, which is gaining this after a Prestige Estate subsidiary has acquired 28.99% stake in DB Realties. That's the BKC project from Trinity Capital. And as you can see on your screen, there's been a great trigger for the stock, 4.6% higher. Okay, but with that, we are out of time with just 3 stocks left to go. But unfortunately, we'll have to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. And Himain, Varun and Pranay, thank you for joining. Stay tuned for Market Fatafat.